Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Mr. Sensible. Grab yourself a seat and make yourself at home. Today we're going to have a look at a channel called Zetetic Astronomy. Of course I couldn't do any of this without the support of my amazing patrons. With massive thanks to all my patrons, including new patrons Alexander Henkel, Janie, Stephen Huxtable, Paul Reap, Surf, Number 6, and my newest patrons Corpus Defectus, Tiffany Hall, Erebathron and Bardtail. Thank you all so very much. So, Zetetic Astronomy. Well, Zeteticism is all to do with inquiring. But that's one thing that flat earthers don't do. They don't inquire, they don't investigate. They pull ideas from their butt and call them good. So, Zetetic Astronomy, tell us all about how the luminaries in the sky are very near. Roll VT! What the hell are those? Hands up every astronomer watching this that would use a Nikon P1000 for stargazing. None. And I counted them twice. You're an idiot. It's not designed for that. All you've got is out of focus blobs. These images are nothing to be proud of. Hell, I'd be prouder of the photos my mum used to take with a Kodak Instamatic, where she used to cut the head off of everyone who's in the pictures. This is utter junk. And you call yourself an astronomer? Really? The stars are close. You're not going to tell us how close? Or how you arrived at the fact that they're close? You're just going to tell us they're close. When they're not. Space is big. Really big. I mean, you might think it's a long way down the road to the chemist, but that's just peanuts compared to space. Well, your clip proves nothing of the sort. There are ways to prove it, such as seeing the rotation around the north and south circumpolar points, but all you're showing is them apparently moving. But that depends on your frame of reference. Have a look at this little gorgeous clip. Just locking the camera on a point in the sky on an equatorial mount really shows you what is actually happening. For someone who is purporting to be a zetetic astronomer, you haven't actually managed to find out much for yourself, have you? Stars are not fixed, they're constantly moving, at great speed. The problem is they are so far away, you can't really see how much they've moved, certainly not by the naked eye. Here is a stacked image of Barnard's star, a star with, I think, the greatest proper movement across the sky, taken between, late 1990s and 2007, and you can see its position has changed. So don't give me that guff about stars being fixed and immovable. Well, Earth is spinning at the rate of once a day, and wobbling, well, I suppose you can call precession wobbling. It takes about 26,000 years to make one of those wobbles. And speed, as you can see here, at 348 kilometers per hour, it's no problem balancing a coin on this Chinese train. Speed's not an issue. Well, Pumpkin, it looks like you've just debunked yourself about the stars rotating around the Earth with this video of yours. Look at those star trails. At the top they're curving upwards, and at the bottom they're curving the other way, as they're rotating around the north and south circumpolar point. Oh dear, that doesn't work on a flat Earth. Why don't you go take a holiday south of the equator and look south? You'll see that the stars are rotating in the opposite direction to the north, and they're rotating not around a star in the south, but an apparently empty portion of the sky. But there are constellations such as the Southern Cross and Carina, which are fairly close. In the north, they're roughly going around Polaris. Not exactly. Which is why if you see star trail pictures long enough, Polaris will draw a little circle. And of course, as the Earth wobbles due to precession over 26,000 years, that point will change. It wobbles and points somewhere else, and it will no longer be Polaris. You're a silly person. Look at this beautiful picture of a range of mountains. Look at the ones at the far distance towards the horizon. They're getting a bluer and bluer tinge as more atmosphere is between you and them. That's all it is. It's the atmosphere and scattered sunlight making the moon look blue. It is not translucent. Well, this doesn't look like a flat two-dimensional object, does it? This time-lapse imagery of the moon looks more like, how shall I say it, a spinning ball in space. We can see more than half of the surface of the moon. It's not a flat object. And if it was, then from different points on the Earth, it would have to appear as an ellipse. It can only be facing one direction if it was a flat object. Did you place a bulk order of fail? Because that's all you're giving us. Oh, I see. How precious. You're going to debunk yourself again. The moon doesn't look very translucent, does it? You can see the craters foreshortening as they go round the curve. And now you said the moon is close, very close. Well, we know how close it is. It's about 250,000 miles away. We can measure it by bouncing radio waves off of it. Don't be pathetic. That's like saying there's no such thing as kilometres. A light year is just a measure of distance. The distance that light can travel in a year. As for galaxies, well, with good eyesight you can see them with the naked eye, just as a little blotch. Pair of binoculars, you'll see a little more. A good telescope, and you'll see the shape of some of the galaxies. Must be a bit odd being a zetetic astronomer if space doesn't exist. You're supposed to be testing these things for yourself and looking at the evidence. Sounds like you haven't gone outside with your eyes open. You're right, the sun is close, very close. It's a star that's only 93 million miles away. Ah, I see what you're doing. You're suggesting that it's in there amongst the clouds. Well, how would that work? How small would the sun have to be? And what would fuel it? Because the fuel would run out rather quickly at the scale of just even a couple miles across. No, it's very, very big and 93 million miles away. You're an idiot. You've got your P1000 again, out of focus. Mars, through a home 8-inch telescope, looks like this. Come on, really? You've been listening to Anthony Riley, haven't you? If you believe it requires a container, just explain to us, why is there no container required between sea level and the top of a mountain? Honestly, if this is the state of flat earth science, you've got a long way to go before you destroy the globe. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.